Hey everybody, welcome to the Sounds of Care podcast, coming to you from the Ronald McDonald House. I'm here with the Lepper family today, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Why don't we go down the line here, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, and then we'll dive into your story.
Okay. Hi, I'm Troy Lepper. I'm Brooke's dad.
Debbie Lepper, I'm Brooke's mother.
Hi, I'm Brooke Lepper, and I was a guest at the Ronald McDonald House.
All right, well, why don't we start from the beginning? Tell us a little bit about Brooke's diagnosis. Troy or Debbie, why don't we start with you, and then Brooke will get your viewpoint. Tell us a little bit about Brooke's diagnosis.
Well, Brooke developed some spots on her face, wasn't feeling well, developed fevers. So then that led to trips to the doctor, to the ER. They tested. At first took a little while to diagnose what she had. They couldn't quite pinpoint it at the Stevens Point, so they referred us to a pediatrics oncologist who then found out that she had B-cell leukemia. And then the type that she had after, what was it, one round of chemo?
Yep, my induction round.
Yeah, the counts were going down, but the chemo wasn't taking care of it. So they knew that there was something different with it. And let me think here. It was missing chromosomes. So then they knew that a transplant was going to be her only cure. Mm-hmm. So then that's when we made plans to come down to Milwaukee and get the ball rolling for her bone marrow transplant, which, boy, that was a big bomb to drop of our world being turned upside down. Going to be down in Milwaukee for quite a while. Where are we going to live? Where are we going to eat? What's going to go on? Well, then we were introduced to the Ronald McDonald House, and a huge weight was lifted off our shoulders once we got here.
Brooke, how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 17, about 2 months into my senior year of high school.
Okay, and you were at Children's?
Yep, well, originally I was at Marshfield Children's Hospital, and then I needed extra care, the bone marrow transplant, so I was referred down to Children's.
All right, so you have been here cumulatively 115 days, which is incredible. The house clearly played a big impact in your stay down here. Tell me a little bit about your introduction to the Ronald McDonald House.
I mean, it was right when we found out we were going to have to stay in Milwaukee for a couple months, and of course our world's already been turned upside down with my diagnosis, and things are just swirling around when you hear transplant, and something that I was definitely very afraid of. And I know my parents were worried, and we're all just thinking so many different things. And there was a social worker at the hospital who assured us right away, Ronald will be there for you. You will not have to worry about where you're staying, getting to the hospital, having meals. Our world flipped a little bit more normal. And it definitely felt like a comforting hand kind of picked us up and took some of those worries off our plate.
I bet. I mean, you're coming from Stevens Point, which is definitely a trek.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Troy, you were telling me earlier, and Debbie too, about, Brooke would fall asleep, you'd come stay at the house, and then you'd be back by the time she woke up.
Yeah.
That must have been so incredible to have.
Oh, the convenience of being able to walk just across the street and not have to drive, and a safe walk, with the bridge and through the parking ramp. It was great to be able to come and go anytime we needed to.
One of us could be with her all the time.
Yep.
So that was really great.
Yep, I didn't have to wait for them to drive all the way over to the hospital, look for a parking spot. They were able to just walk there and be with me.
That's excellent. And Debbie, I mean, the fact that you can stay here, I mean, the programming, did you talk to other families while you were here that helped?
We did, and that was another great thing about being in the house, was we were able to connect with other parents the kids of all ages, which I found really really heartwarming, and a common ground with the other families here, and just kind of a bond, or kind of a sense of feeling belonging, no matter what you had done or where you had been in your life before diagnosis. This is where you are now, and it was really very welcoming and friendly faces, and comforting to have discussions and eat meals and converse with a lot of the other parents.
Definitely a diverse group of people.
It was, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, I mean, you have the mix of the staff, the volunteers, obviously the families that are staying here. Tell me a little bit about, is there like a story that stands out to you guys while you were here that just like, that defines the house to me?
Well, actually, our first night when we came here, there was actually a therapy horse, Sawdust, and he was out in our favorite place, the Secret Garden, out by the gazebo. And so I was just like, I've never seen a therapy horse before. And so that was really cool. And then I think they might have had music that night too.
The music therapy,
Yes.
which takes place here, right? In the
Yep.
great room?
It does.
Yeah. Was the fire on? I mean, the fire's, it's pretty hot for those of you that are listening. It's very hot, but it's great. Yeah, the music therapies are really, the programming in general,
Yes,
just out of this world.
it is.
How
There's
did-
always something to do.
Yes. As parents, how did you benefit from the programming?
We spent a lot of time in the garden. There's a gazebo and the flowers. We were able to play board games and cards and sit back and read, or the garden is beautiful.
Yeah.
Basketball. Played a
Yep.
couple games of basketball.
felt
when,
nice
when
just
Brooke was
to-
released.
Yeah, be outside
Yeah.
after being stuck in my hospital
At the
room
basketball
for
court.
40 plus days.
40 plus days in
Yep.
a hospital room.
Yep. So definitely coming to Ronald and being able to go outside, just
Shoot some baskets. That was
that's
fun.
definitely what I needed.
Yeah, I bet. And you play soccer too, you're
I
saying,
do,
right?
yes.
Okay, being outside, that must
Yes,
have been
that was-
a joy.
It was the best.
Yeah. So you called it Ronald. I didn't know that's the slang term for the house. I mean, I've heard RMHC is a big one. Ronald's, okay,
Ronald, yeah.
very
Yep,
good.
just like our home.
Yeah, we always say going to Ronald.
Yep, and all our
friends.
friends, family, they've come to visit. They now call it Ronald as well, and are very familiar. And
You said home, and I think that's a huge key word here. I mean, the comforts of home away from home kind of is what we say. Tell me a little bit about that and what made this place feel like home to you.
well, when I was discharged from the hospital, my parents had been staying in a long-term room, so I was able to come over and stay in the room with them, and it was nice because, as a young adult, 17, it's kind of nice to have your own privacy. And there was a whole separate room just for me, which was nice. So there were 2 rooms and then a little living room space, so it just felt homey. Not like I was at like a hotel, or it just felt like home.
Nice. And I got to say, Brooke, you're on the older spectrum of kids that are at the house.
Yeah.
Did you feel that even though you're a little bit older, it still felt inviting and there's plenty for you to do?
100%. You're never too old.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't do here. And it's just take advantage of it. It's fun. That's what it's here for. It's here to just get things off your mind. And yeah, that's how it helped me for sure.
That's great. That's great. So, I mean, we talk a little bit about, the financial burden of staying at a hotel or something like that. The fact that you have all these amenities mixed into the house. Can you tell us about how that stress probably just lifted off your shoulders?
It was a huge stress reliever. I mean, just the meals that they provided, laundry, snacks, sandwiches to go, and just a place to stay. I mean,
When we first heard that we'd have to come to Milwaukee for 100 plus days for the transplant, where are we going to stay? Well, we're going to need to find an apartment or something. Where do we go? We need to be by the hospital. We don't want to get in a bad area. We want something nice, but we can't afford to pay a whole lot. Well, then Ronald came along and everything was answered, you know.
And we were nervous about, of course, separating Brooke from, her friends and her family. I mean, we're, going to be 3 hours away, and the house was nice. We had one great day where we got to invite her grandparents here for a picnic, and her
Yep.
uncle and cousin. Her friends came down one day and spent the day in the house, and
Oh,
it
that's
was
so
just
cool.
Yeah.
it was great for her to be able to see them during her stay. And we had kitchen space and a living room space that her and her friends were able to hang out and come down here and have their girl talks. It was really,
The girl talks are important.
They-
You gotta
they
have
are
that.
for sure.
You're still
They
a
are.
kid. You still
Yep.
gotta be a kid.
Exactly.
so
I never heard about that. It's actually a first for me. I'm like, okay, so friends are coming down. They're hanging out at the house. It goes beyond just staying overnight.
Oh, yeah,
right,
definitely.
right, to make a connection during her transplant with, to get to see her friends and get to see her grandparents and uncle. It was, her brother came and stayed for a few days from out of state. It was, that to me was really important, that we could bring our family here to visit Brooke in such a great setting.
So I'm sure it was a roller coaster emotionally. I can't even imagine. It's incredible what you've gone through, and you're in remission,
Yes.
which is amazing.
Yes.
Congratulations
Thank
for that.
you. Thank you.
There's a lot of dark moments in the house, but there's a lot of positives. Can you talk a little bit about that emotional roller coaster and how the house might have helped you get through some of the darker times?
Honestly, I'd say for me, the family meals and having access to a cooked meal, because when I was discharged, I had a very tough time with all the chemo and radiation with my appetite. So having a fresh cooked meal, it just helped me kind of get back in to eating and healing and building myself strong to where I need to be, not having to go get fast food or, there's always fruits or vegetables with the meal, and just having a home cooked meal rather than hospital food definitely helped with getting my appetite back, my energy, and just healing.
Great. Anything to add?
To me, the volunteers are just incredible. Anything you need, any questions you have about, the surrounding area, the house, just a smiling face, or we'd drive a couple hours and we'd come, at late at night or whenever we'd come back after transplant and just, oh, hey, Leppers, I mean, just to be welcomed in such a, it was very, very friendly, such an atmosphere of, after trudging around all day and just kind of head down, to see a smiling face here.
And for them to know who you are.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
that's awesome. You're so far away, and you're like, hey,
can
welcome back.
I help you? Can I get you anything? And just that after a day of, the long hospital stays, driving, whatever it was, just to be greeted with a smile every time. There was no fail that, just a smile was really appreciated. I really, that was one thing I really appreciated, was the friendly, welcoming gestures of the volunteers are awesome.
Troy?
Well, I had a connection with another father that was going through a very similar situation with his daughter, same type of thing, a little different, but, so after a long day at the hospital, we'd walk back here, stand, and have a glass of juice or whatever and just talk about things, because like you say, going through something like we went through, it's hard to explain it, hard for other people to understand. But when there's somebody else going through at the same time, you can talk and explain things and know that that person gets you 100%. So it was really really nice having that friendship with him. And when your daughter's sick, nothing else matters. You know, just, yeah, it's tough, but it was nice to have somebody else that was going through it too.
You've all clearly, Brooke, obviously, especially you've been through a lot. And there's a lot of families out there in the state and beyond that, don't even know about this place. What would you tell them?
It's a place of just love, community, and people wanting to just help and be there during the hardest moments of your life, and just whatever they can, big or small, they just want to be there to help, and you can feel the love as soon as you walk in the house.
Debbie?
I would just say don't be afraid, I mean, I think sometimes to go out of the norm and stay, and to be, quite honest, we were hesitant as to what we would want to do, like, stay with family, get an apartment, stay in a hotel, what a group, but a group house, every sense of hesitancy just disappeared once we got here. It was wonderful. I mean, it really was a godsend for our family to be a part of Ronald McDonald. It really was. It really was.
Yeah, and there's, like you say, plenty of places where if you want a little quiet time or alone time, you can find that too. Or you can find people to talk with, things to do. So it's can be what you make of it. It can be a quiet, private place if you like that as well.
It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Between your privacy, because that's one thing you think, well, your privacy is important to you, but the mixture between our privacy and the activities and the other people in the house, that ratio was it was perfect. It was just really, really outstanding, and just something we will never be able to forget, or we'll always be so
2 hours to get here today.
we'll always be so grateful.
Yes.
I mean, so grateful. I really can't. Yeah.
Brooke, did you go into the magic room?
I have, yes.
Okay, all right, I gotta ask, because I mean, you're on the older end of the spectrum here, and you found something.
Yeah, I got a
remember?
book and then the Game of Life.
Game of
The
life.
Game of
Yes.
Life.
Me and some of my college friends just played it the other night, actually.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. That's great. So you're in college, you're healthy. I mean, these are
Yes.
all really great things. I mean, we're so grateful that you came down here today to share your story.
Yes, thank you
Is
so much for having us.
there anything you guys want to add that we didn't talk about that you want everybody to know? You have the floor.
What do you think, Brooke?
I also want to talk about the pet therapy.
Let's talk about the pet therapy. You
Oh.
talked
Pet
about
therapy.
sawdust a little bit.
Sawdust, and then I did get to meet and hang out with McNugget a couple times before he retired.
Before you retired.
Yep,
Of course. McNugget's great.
he is.
Such a friendly dog.
Just so cute.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, so what they have sawdust, they have McNugget.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Bailey? Bailey was another one.
Oh, well, they had McNugget retired. Sorry.
McNugget
Yeah.
As you said,
Yes.
Brooke. As you said, my
Yes.
bad. Are there any? I'm speaking to our producers here.
Yeah,
What-
I know there's quite a few.
15 therapy dogs.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of therapy dogs.
And it's like when you go up to the calendar, you just see pretty much every week just.
Activities.
Yeah, the big
Yeah,
activity
activities,
calendar has them
Yes,
listed
thanks.
out.
Yeah.
You guys were able to go to the art museum.
Yeah, with a day pass. My dad and
They
I
had the
were
day
able
day passes
to go
for
to the Milwaukee Art Museum, which I had never seen before. And then we were able to go to a Brewers
a
game
Brewers
too.
game. Yeah.
So it goes beyond just the house.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
amazing.
That's amazing.
Things for everybody, all ages,
Yeah,
anyone to do.
awesome. Well, thank you all for being here today. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having.
having
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
sharing your
having
story.
us.
Yeah, it's powerful, very powerful. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. This was the Sounds of Care podcast. Leppers, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Sounds of Care podcast. We want to send a huge shout out to Kendra Scott, who provided Brooke with a pop-up color bar where she was able to choose custom gems that signify her past and her future. To support our mission, visit our website. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.